Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Sh podcast, the podcast show where we unlock potential one dream at a time. Today, we have another guest whose journey is truly worth hearing. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the Moneyway experience.
What's up, my good people? Welcome to the CJ Moneyway Show. We're diving deep with my man, Dr. Brian E. Arnold, a powerful voice in the world of personal development and the host of the Journey of Freedom podcast and Living Boldly with Purpose, which I have happened to be a guest on, man. And so me and the good doctor, we had such a good time, man. We had to do it all over again and bring him on the CJ Moneyway Show. Dr. B has spent over 20 years mentoring, teaching, and transforming lives through faith, focus, and real-world mindset shifts. From helping people break free from limitations to working boldly in purpose, Dr. B drops game on trust, identity, and claiming your freedom. Whether you're struggling with burnout, looking for more clarity, or ready to level up, this episode will give you the blueprint. What's up, Dr. B, man? Welcome to the show, bro.
Thank you for having me on. Excited about doing it. Excited about spending time with you as we always do. Oh my gosh. And just, the world of podcasting is just opening up its doors and floodgates are opening up. And so what a fun place to be at.
Man, with you saying that, I don't want to give out what I just came up with today. We'll talk off record because we might have some more podcasters on here listening. I don't want to give out my idea. But,
all right.
but with that being said, man, when I first started this journey, I asked you about when you first started your journey, talking like from the beginning, like from the start. Man, never would have thought that it would come to what a person is now, man. I remember when I first started, Doc, I said to myself, man, because I was listening to people, and I started getting mentorship and things of that nature, taking some of them programs. And they say, man, you build your podcast builds your business, so you build everything else around your podcast, but it builds your business, And so at the time, of course, I'm just doing it. I'm not understanding that concept. And it takes a while to understand that type of concept when you get in this, because all you're thinking about is the podcasting, and putting out good content and all the variables that we have to do for each episode, you know what I'm saying? Just for one or whatnot. But man, I ran across a guy the other couple weeks ago, Dr. B, and changed the game for me. When I learned it, when he gave me this, and I'm going to give a shout out to Ken Cox. Probably had him on your show on Pod Match. If not, get him on there. Ken Cox. I'll get him on there. Tell him CJ sent you.
All right. I'm going to get him on. Absolutely.
Yeah, nlink.com. Integration system.
Okay.
Funnels. All that.
Oh my
It
God.
changes the whole dynamics of what you're doing, bro. You feel what I'm saying? We go from podcasting to now we talking about that business model and things that can come with it. Hey, check it out, man. That's all I'm gonna say on that. Check it out, Dr. B, man, and get Ken Cox on your show, man. Bring great value and I would recommend this to any podcaster out there. Get with it, get on it, man, because we already know things are being automated, animated, and eliminated, man. So do what you got to do. And this game here, if you're going to do it for real. You know what I'm saying? Do it for real, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Oh, no, you don't have time to waste. I had started out in radio back in the, 90s and the 2000s. I was doing radio and I was having to drive an hour or, I was in LA area and buy studio time and have a producer. And, you can't make any mistakes and you can't edit anything. I mean, it just, oh my gosh. And then, to come to be able to say, wait a minute, I can do this for podcasting and I can help people create income. And I even started coaching podcasting, and I'm doing a workshop here in April. I'm going to do it the first, the second Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of every month and teach people how to do this game. Because, when I started out, I was doing it was called the Mile High Real Estate Spotlight podcast. And I got myself a list of real estate agents because I was doing mortgages, and I got myself a list of real estate agents that were doing business because I didn't want a whole bunch, and I had some coaching that said, well, call these folks up and invite them to coffee, and then you can sit down with them, and then you can tell them all about yourself, and then they'll send you business. And I'm like, in 2020, that was 2020, I was doing that. And I called them up, and I said, will you meet me for coffee? And they said, no. Or call them up, and they wouldn't answer. So I was like, then the ones that I did meet, they wouldn't show up, or they would show up and say, I got a whole bunch of mortgage people, and, you ain't one of them. But thank you for the coffee. And, and then I would try to call them up and follow up with them. And I said, this isn't working. And then I found out about podcasting. So I created this Mile High Real Estate Spotlight podcast. And I called them up and I said, hey, I would love for you to be on my show. I'm highlighting real estate agents in the area. And I'm wanting you to be able to tell your story so that you can get more customers. And I do mortgages. And so I said, would you like to be on my show? Like 99.9% of them said, yes, when can I be on your show? And then so I asked them the same questions I was asking when they was doing coffee. And then I gave them these follow-ups. In like 5 weeks, I sent them a T-shirt. And I would say almost everyone, I got 75 real estate agents that I did my show in the first year. And I would say at least 20% of them sent me some business. And I wasn't going back to no coffee shop. I'm not giving you a coffee shop. I'm calling you. And I said, I guess I just monetized my podcast because I'm getting business from doing this. And then, I did another one called the Black Wealth Experience and doing the same thing. And I started interviewing and finding folks that have programs. And that's how it all got started. It's like, hey, I need to figure out a way to be able to use this podcasting medium because everybody wants to talk about themselves, right? Everybody wants to get on and then be able to chop it up. And now, we're using this software called StreamYard. And StreamYard it gives you these AI clips, at the end, 15 or some AI clips that now you can send to the people you did on podcasts. And you say, hey, here's a gift to you. You can chop these up, do them however you want, and then put them out on your own social media. And then now I can teach them how to do that too. So there are so many ways with this game to be able to do stuff. Plus, not only are you be able to do that, you get better at speaking, you get better at communicating, you get better at relationship, you get better at who you are as an individual out in the community when you're doing podcasts. So
you do.
I'm a proponent.
I totally agree with you on that, Doc. Probably a couple of weeks ago, man, I was sitting back and I was how we had to set out release dates, for people, whatever. So I had to clear my calendar up, to set out release dates and things of that nature. And I was like at 200 interviews, and I ain't even been in it 2 years. And I said, man, over these 200, because I was telling somebody, I said, man, over these 200 interviews, you learn a lot about yourself. As you just said, you learn a lot about yourself. You see where you are now to opposed to where you were when you first started. You get more comfortable. Everything is all about repetition. That's whether you're working at a job or whatever. The more you do something, the more you become more comfortable with it. You get more experience doing it. And that's what it is, man. And so that's why I feel like what you said, I feel like that right now too. I'm more comfortable talking to Dr. B. I ain't a doctor, but I can talk to Dr. B and we can vibe and we can chill, because we already, I know when you come talk to an intelligent man like yourself, doctor, degrees and things like that. And I'm not on that level. When you first start, you be intimidated a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't know if you're going to stack up or be smart enough to ask the right questions and this and that. But man, once you find that niche and within yourself, man, and once you feel comfortable in your own skin and just start moving on, like, hey, sometimes you know what I learned to do, Doc? When you say something so intelligent that I have no idea what you're talking about, hey, I can't even elaborate on that, Doc. Hey, let's go on to the next question. And that's just how I got to be.
I know. Because what I'll do sometimes, I'll go back and get the transcript, highlight it, and put it in Chat GPT and say, what did this man just say?
Say, elaborate. Break this down for me, Chat.
Oh my gosh. No, I get it. And also what's going to happen is you get better because you get better by doing something. You now be the quality of the people that you begin to talk to, the quality Not that you're not, you won't talk to, anybody. Like what I found out, even with my journey to freedom, where I'm interviewing Black men. Well, I had some guys that were my friends, right? The guys that I hung out with, they started out, right? Well, I've had conversations with them their whole life. And so, I kind of know her, in the last 5 or 6 years, and I'm having conversations and I'm asking them questions. But I don't think the quality of my questions was very good. They were like, and some of it might have even inside stuff like, remember when we went to the game and then we would talk about the game. Well, I don't know if anybody want to hear about when we went to a basketball game and we enjoyed ourselves. But then I got into that rhythm of these are the questions that I'm asking. These are the problems that we as a group are having or that we need to solve. Now I can ask this person, how did you deal with success when it came your way, when there's people that were hating on you? And now we get into this deep conversation that other people want to hear, because if he could do it, I could do it. And so, after my first, 50 episodes, I'm like, okay, this is getting better. My questions are good now. And now I'm at, I'm over 150 episodes of just the journey to freedom. And the people who are asking me to be on my show now, the people that, like I'm going to do, for those of you who are watching, you're going to want to look up this show because this one won't be out. But there's a dude named Myron Golden. And Myron Golden is a business biblical strategist that has over 1 million subscribers, that teaches business from a biblical perspective. Black dude that is just on fire right now. And so on Monday, I'm interviewing Myron. And so it took a year to get on Myron's calendar, but it is going to be so worth it because, oh man, the stuff that he talks about, the stuff that he's been able to help people out with, he's helped millionaire after millionaire after millionaire become millionaire. And so we're going to chop it up and do some stuff. But I don't get on that if I don't put myself out there, if I don't start talking, if I don't start, learning and knowing that I got to go through some bad shows before they're going to be good. Right? But you got to put yourself out there. So many people, I don't know if I look good, or I don't know forget that. Get on there and ask some questions, because I think people are spending I can't remember the last time I spent money on a flyer. What a waste of business time is to make up some flyers. I was doing my walk this morning, saw some on a mailbox. I looked at it you think you're going to get business from a flyer in 2025?
Not 2025. This is one of the best places for business right now, man, because everybody want to, like you said, everybody want to talk about themselves. Everybody want to promote their business this way, man, because for the most part, it's free, unless you got one of these skip the line funnels, you know what I'm saying? I'm just throwing something out there. Skip the line funnel, we got this gold, silver, and platinum, this silver, gold, and platinum package, but that's coming to Q4. We'll get to that. But Doc, man, but one thing that you said, man, that resonated with me when you was talking about how you was talking with your boys and y'all was just talking sports. I'll never forget when I first started, and I started getting some reviews on Apple. Somebody gave me a 3-star. Say, great show, but I don't understand the flow. And so I didn't know what he was talking about, what they were talking about with the flow. And I kept hearing, I'm like, flow, what they talking about with the flow? So just like what you did, when I learned about chat, I say, chat, what they talking about with the flow? So chat told me what the flow was. And like you say, since then, now I know what the flow is, you know what I'm saying? Cause I it's just some things when you get in, you just don't understand. So it's good that you got somebody like yourself that's willing to have workshops and teach people on the pros and the cons, especially when you first start this thing. And another thing too, I would tell people, if you want to get into this game, do it because you got a passion to want to help people. Do it because you got a passion to want to motivate people, and do it for free. And then once you do something for free, you got a passion to do it, man, the money gonna come with it. Just ask the good doctor. You heard what he said. He got 20% clients. The client from people coming on his show, man. There's money in it. You just gotta learn how to go out there and go get it.
Yeah, and then there's so many ways to create an income from it. But like you said, the passion is because you want to improve yourself. If all you do is do a podcast and nobody watches it, but you do 20 shows, even if you're just talking, you're going to get better at your ability to communicate, which is going to help you in whatever you're going to do. Because the number one game in creating income is being able to communicate. You can have an idea all day long, but if you can't communicate that, you can even go make an invention. But if you don't tell anybody about it, nobody's going to buy it, and your invention's just going to sit there till you pass away, and hopefully one of your kids figures out how to utilize it. So you got to learn how to communicate, and you're not going to communicate by getting on the phone or watching reels. So people say, I'm on the internet all the time. Well, what are you doing? Well, I'm watching reels. I'm watching people. Well, that's entertainment. That's not education. You're over there playing video games.
Hey, Doc. Hey, I just asked my son today, right? Because because me and my wife, we've had some, I'm not gonna say conflict of interest, but sometimes when you in the space and somebody else in the space, y'all in the same space, but you in two different spaces, and a lot of times us as creators and creatives, sometimes people don't understand your mindset. You know what I'm saying, or where you trying to go, because it's in your mind, and sometimes you try to bring people in that with you, but I really don't. I don't see it. I don't understand it. Like, would nobody understand the conversation that me and Doc having right now? So they don't know the value of the conversations that me and you having, or the value, or how I met Ken Crooks or Ann Pelps. Shout out to Ann Pelps. People that want to show you how to go out there and get this money and live comfortably. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what the podcast is. A lot of times when we bring people on, it is for the audience, but I'm, genuinely, me personally, I like to hear what people have to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning as I'm going, as you said, with the guy that you bringing on pretty soon. I've been having financial people come on. I've been telling people, I said, man, I've been having financial people for the last couple months coming on the show. And it just opens up your mindset. You know what I'm saying? You tuning in like, okay, yeah. Now, how about now? It might not have been on the question list, Doc, but it's like, okay, then. So now I got a question. So now I'm going off cue of what I was on, because now I'm curious. You know what I'm saying? Not for the audience. I'm curious for myself. So like you said, a lot of times, a lot of this stuff is for you. Like how when you tell somebody something and you thinking that you talking to them about something, but you really talking to yourself. That's how podcasting is too.
I'm going to give you all, if you start a podcast, first come to me. I'm going to help you get all the equipment, do all the things you need to do it. But realize that when it's your show, you get to ask the questions. And whatever it is that you are trying to figure out, you went to ChatGPT, you not really understand what ChatGPT says, but now you have an expert in that though. So let's say it's some kind of investment. So you go find this expert on investing because you've been wondering about it. You get to ask them for a half hour about that investment while he's telling you. Now there's ways to do it where you just you don't go, so how does this investment work? And what do you do? But you say, so you've been successful at this. And what are some of the things that you thought about when you were getting ready to make this investment or invest this way? And then they want to tell you, well, this is what I thought about. I did this, and this, and this. And you sit up here right here with this book going, all right, I do this,
exactly.
This. Now, here's what's even cooler, right? Because I thought I used to have to take notes, like on everything and hurry up and then wait. Dude, I can hit pause. I can hit rewind. I can start it over.
I can go back.
Just listen to it the first time. Then go back. So I'll be on my walk. I walk 3 miles every single morning. I listen to a podcast every single morning when I'm walking. And if I need to pause it and say, remember, go to this, whatever, I'll stay it on my phone, come back home, and then go back. Because I think for real, about 20% of at least 20% of our time awake should be on working on yourself and you becoming better, whether it's a book, a podcast, talking to people who know more about something you need, or finding a mentor, all those things that you can do to improve yourself. Then you become the person that you need to be in order to do the thing. We spend so much time trying to do stuff and then it don't work. And then we do something else, then it don't work. And we never become the person who can do it because we don't work on ourselves. I don't get it. You just go there and think you're going to figure it out. Like, it's going to jump on you. Like,
hey, man, you're going to take some bumps and bruises along the way. But like Doc was saying, we finna show you right now how you get into that. Like he said, it's the way that you do things. And he said something, I think we just going to jump into it just like this. Doc, the freedom formula. You've been known for helping people move from feeling stuck to living free. What was the moment in your own life when you realized you had to break free?
That's such a great question. And thinking of, I grew up, as what they told me I was a special ed kid. They told me that I wasn't able to read when I was supposed to. Right now, living back after 60 years, I know it was the teacher's issue. It wasn't Brian's issue. But I didn't get to go through school. And so I was told by the people that were in my environment what my worth was. I was told by the people in my environment what I could achieve and what I could do based on their belief in what they said. Oh, you're not going to be able to do that. Don't go to engineering school because you don't understand math. Don't go to, doctor school because you don't understand anatomy. Don't go. So I literally created my life even around, I was a good athlete. So I knew I could be good as an athlete, but not good enough to make money for the rest of my life. But, it paid for college. And then, but I'm going, okay, so I became a teacher. And then I became a physical education teacher, which is great. I mean, nothing wrong with physical education teachers. I loved it. I was coaching. I was helping kids. But I was poor and I was broke. And I was trying to figure out how I want to feed my family and all these things. And I said, let me go back to school because that's what I was told, right? Go to school, get a good education. You'll get a good job. You'll be happy. Well, when you become a teacher, they just tell you keep going back to school and go back to school. But I got my master's in educational technology. So I started being able to use computers before there was an internet, before there was, all the stuff that we have access to now. And it opened up a world in my mind that said, wait, there's way more to this than just being stuck trying to make it as a teacher. Because, when I'm a teacher, we work for 10 months and then you say, well, teachers got it made. They got summers off. Well, my summers were teaching summer school, working at the Family Fitness Center, delivering pizzas, doing Blockbuster Video, doing all these things because I didn't have enough money to feed my family, right? I got a second job. I'm coaching track. I mean, all these, and I'm like, wait a minute, when do I get to spend time with my family? I'm a teacher and you tell me I got this great time off. And so I was just stuck in this rat race. And then once I got to a little bit more education and I realized there's more out there. And so I jumped into like a lot of us do multi-level, into the multi-level marketing. And I think Amway was one of the first ones that I did. And but that was the beginning of my personal development where I started reading books, How to Win Friends and Influence People, The Magic of Thinking Big. And, John Maxwell's book started on leadership. And I really started going, wait a minute. And now I started observing people. And then I said, I need a mentor. And I went and found me a spiritual mentor. I found me a business mentor. I found me hey, you got to get out of education mentor. And that's kind of where that formula began to say, okay, oh man, if I work on myself, then I see people who are doing what I never thought I could do. And who told me that I couldn't do this?
Exactly.
That was that teacher in 9th grade who I know, now I'd have your job. I know you broke. You don't have no business teaching me.
Yeah, I can name a few right now. Miss Parker, Miss Hill, and Miss McKinney. You ain't gonna be nothing. And Miss McCann, they told my mama ain't got me a whooping that day too. I ain't forget you about that, Miss McCann. But yeah, man, I know exactly what you're talking about, man.
I had a teacher in 9th grade because I still can't spell. I don't need to because the computer does it for me. But I couldn't spell, and she was going to teach me how to spell. And so I stayed after school, and she made me miss part of practice. So because she told all my coaches that I needed to learn how to spell. And so I would go there and she would teach me and I'd memorize it for that day and that week. And then I get an A on her spelling test. And then like next week I'd use that same word. It was spelled wrong. She kicked me out of class, told me I couldn't come back to ninth grade. No more. Send me back to the trailer. I was like, okay, and then it hurt me. Now I know, like, you didn't have a clue because if you're the failure, you have those professors, and I was one of ones, and I never failed my students as a professor, but I had my colleagues who would tell me, 50% of the people in my class should fail the class, because that way then I know that I'm teaching this high-end material. And then I looked at them and my thought was, well, if 50% of the people are failing, that's on me because that means I'm not teaching them what
that means you ain't doing what you're supposed to be doing. Yeah.
Right? Because if I was teaching them the way I'm supposed to, that means I'm a 50% failure if I'm a professor who's failing 50% of my students. That means 50% of the people can't grasp what I'm teaching and I shouldn't be teaching it because my job is to impart the knowledge, right? So that they can be better people. And there's this mentality of like, I got to show you that I'm smarter than you, which makes no sense. And another reason why I want to help people so much. Because if I can help you become the person that you need to be, that helps all of us. There's room.
Man.
God has given enough resources on this planet where there is no lack. And we have all this fear because we're worried if I have it, like, CJ Moneyway is saying, he's got everything. And if he gives a little bit to me, he's not going to have nothing left. And that's simply not true. There's
Definitely
enough for all of us. Like there's 6 billion people on the planet. And let's say that 1 billion of them watch a podcast. Well, they're all not going to want to watch my podcast, but I don't need 1 billion people to have a successful podcast, right? No. I mean, especially if I'm using it as a way to enhance my business, right? I tell the folks that do what I was doing with the Mile High Real Estate podcast, I say, I don't care how many subscribers I have to this, because this isn't about how many people are watching me. Mm-hmm. This is how I can get you to be a better real estate agent. Mm-hmm. And you can share it with your network. Yeah. So for that podcast, I'm not trying to get subscribers for that, because I want this to be about you, Mr. Real Estate Agent that needs more folks. And then you can refer me business to my mortgage company. Mm-hmm. That's how we work that one. This isn't trying to get monetized on YouTube for sale.
Exactly. Hey, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, man. You do what you, but you said something that resonated with me, Doc, man. You were talking about how if you had something, if you give, it's like I'm taking away from you, you know what I'm saying? Something to that nature. Mm-hmm. And I remember before my father passed, my father passed away on a Sunday. So this had to be a Thursday. He was in the hospital. I called him, so we was on the phone talking, because we used to talk about the word and stuff. And it was something in my spirit that day. We was talking. I said, yeah, like the story in the Bible where it talks about the guys, they was in the boat. They was in the boat, and they were sitting out there all night, and they didn't catch no fish. And so Jesus came, and told them, turn the net on the other side. And they said, well, why would we do that? We didn't catch nothing all night. So it said when they tossed their net on the other side, that they was catching so many fish that the boat was beginning to sink. Mm-hmm. And so they had to call the brothers that was on the shore to come help them to release some of them all these fish that they was getting. If not, they would have drowned. And so as I was telling my father this, I say, what came to me with that is a lot of us would rather drown with all that we have than to give away or to give people something of the abundance that we have. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just how it is, man. We'd rather sink and die with what we have than to help our brother or our fellow man or woman to get out of some struggles that they in, man. And it's sad to say that, but that's just how society is right now, man.
Yeah, I mean, you think of our political climate that we have. It's all about somebody worried if I give them something or if I allow them to be successful, somehow I can't be successful at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, that's what I said. I'm looking for people who want what I have. Mm-hmm. I'm not, and then I'm going to be able to give it to them. I'm not trying to convince a whole bunch of people in order for me to make it. And there's enough people out there that want what I have. My job is to go find them. And if I can do that, I'm going to be successful. But, instead of running around trying to convince somebody else, hey, you got to do this, you got to do, and you have what we call that commission breath or whatever, where you just throwing up on folks, trying to make them look at it and see it your way. And it's just, God, That's not how God works. God is a God of such abundance that says, no, there's enough. I put enough on there. Like when we think about the resources that we have, like for energy and lights, so back in like the 1700s, it was all based on well blubbers. So they would take the fat out, kill wells, take the fat out of the wells, make oil with it. And that's what lit the lamps that everybody used to light up their house. Mm-hmm. Well, we started running out of wells. And so somebody that has, some way smarter than me figures out if I dig a hole, this black stuff's going to come out the ground and we can use that for fuel. And then all of a sudden we switched over to oil, and so now they said, we're going to run out of oil. Well, what's God going to do? He's going to say, well, I got a sun up there. Okay, start using the energy from the sun. Or I got wind that I put out there. Let's use energy from the wind. I got water flowing down. Let's use it. I mean, it's just whenever we figure out a technology or something to do, every single time we run out of something. And we think somehow God's going to just stop that and I'm not going to be able to have because you got something.
Man, that's crazy. You brought me back to Moses when he struck the rock, when they were walking through the wilderness. He struck the rock and water came out the rock. Come on, man. God did not bring you out of Egypt to starve you. You know what I'm saying? To leave you. He brought you out for a new day.
He put manna on the ground.
Come on, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? He was always going to supply their needs. They just complained about it. Take key of that. Quit complaining about what God has already provided for you. Quit complaining about your life. God has already set a path for you. What most of you need to do is go dig those talents up that God sent you forth with. The talents that you have buried are the very talents that's going to lead you to where you're trying to go and where you feel stuck at, but you don't know where to go get your resources from. Go back, man. When you had passion, when you were 16 years old and you used to like to draw and write and things of that nature, and now you 30 and you don't have no excitement about nothing, that's the only thing that brought you joy, go back and dig that thing up, man. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah, well, and you know what people do, because they want to not go back to it. So they want to be distracted. They want to, they don't want to think about what they could do. Mm-hmm. So they go, and we have this balance I told you before between education and between entertainment. Mm-hmm. And so now we strive to be entertained. So we go watch somebody play pretend, watch them make millions of dollars, pretending like they're somebody else. And I love him for it. I love watching Denzel Washington movies. Mm-hmm. And I love when he goes and plays Malcolm X, and I love when he goes and plays wherever else. But Denzel's the one making $100 million playing Malcolm X. Mm-hmm. I'm just watching him do Malcolm X, wishing, in some cases, wishing my life was better. And I have all these talents God gave me, and I'm watching Denzel. Or I go watch a sports game, and and I love sports. I coach football. I coach track. I've been doing it for many years. I love sports, but not at the expense where I know more about Patrick Mahomes than I know about my children.
Or myself.
Right?
Or about myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, because we at that age, we've all been, like, I've been a Laker fan since 1980, and ain't nothing changed from me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm true blue to the soul with it. But I had to get out of that, like, worried about Kobe and them after they lose a series or whatever. You all upset, don't want to go to work. One day, man, it hit me, Doc. It hit me like a bag of bricks. What are you crying about, worried about them? They finna go off and live their life. You know what I'm saying? And now you still sitting. LeBron said it best. People didn't like what he said, but he was telling the truth. He said, don't worry about me, because me and my family finna go off, have a vacation, and do whatever we finna do, and take y'all little broke butts back home. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I ain't worried about y'all. That's life, bro. And so you said that, Doc, and I gotta say this, man, because you said something. My wife, I'm out here working. I'm working on an animated series right now. But I'm throwing it out there. G out of State's Capital, be on the lookout for that coming soon. And so I've been at work with it, right? And it's been building a lot of stuff. And she want me to come watch the Housewives, the reality shows or whatever, this and that. And I had to tell her, Doc, just like what you just said. I'm like, look, I ain't got time right now to be watching. I'm trying to create my own reality, you know what I'm saying? Show or my own stuff instead of watching them get paid from doing it. I'm trying to do something that's gonna elevate this household. I ain't worrying about their household right now. This ain't my season to worry about. It's my season to focus on me and this household right here, what God has given me the ability to do. Hey, let me ask you, Doc, man, and then you can go on and elaborate on that. Financial freedom and faith, because this tied into that. This show, the CJ Moneyway Show. So let's talk money mindset. How do faith and financial wellness go hand in hand?
Well, the first thing we got to look at is it's all God's, right? Every bit of money and resources that is there is God's. And And he put it here and he put it there. When we talk about, when you think about gold, the gold is, how we look at money. God talked about it in the Bible, in the book of Genesis 8 times. And the 8 times that he talked about it in the book of Genesis, he said it was good. It was good. In fact, he said it was very good. And so somehow we have this belief, and I don't know if it comes from the Catholicism or the Catholic Church, or, when we kind of trace this back, that somehow money is the root of all evil. And if we have money, somehow we are evil. And that's simply not true. It said, for the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money in itself. Money is just a way that we exchange who we are. And so that's the first thing that I think us as people and us as, especially in our culture, that this belief that money is bad. And so if we have it, and if we have that relationship that it's bad, it doesn't matter how much we get because we think it's bad. So we got to figure out how to erase that relationship in our formula. And then we already started talking about it a little bit, and we started talking about abundance, and we started talking about the resources that God has given his children. We are called his children. We are called, the seed of Abraham, and he wants us to have what we have. And so once we get over the stigma that money's bad, now we got to start, okay, so what are some of the principles that God has put, the principle of sowing and reaping, right? There's so many of us that want to reap without putting in the work. We want to,
exactly.
We want to, without the, hey, God has called us to tithe. God has called us to give offering. Well, a lot of the what we say is, well, when my ship comes in, that's what my mom used to say when I was a kid. When my ship comes in, then everything's going to be all right. Well, Mom, your ship never went out. So there's nothing for it to pick up and come back with, and it's like we just believe that if all we do is just sit around, it's just going to and pray. I don't know if you. I'm assuming that you went to some black churches when you was growing up.
I still do. Still do.
Yeah. And so when I was growing up, there used to be all the ladies in the front of the room that were, with the white hats and the white dresses, and they were the sweetest ladies that I ever knew. And I would go and I remember talking to them, and I'd say, "How you doing, Miss Jackson? How you doing? It's good to see you." And she would say, "I'm going through it, trusting in the Lord, just going through it." And I started thinking about, well, Miss Jackson, when do you get through it? Yeah. If you always going through it, what is it you're doing to change your circumstances? Well, God's a God of action, right? He's expecting you. Like you mentioned it earlier, right? You got this talent that you had in high school, and God gave it to you because he's given us all a talent to become the person that he's meant us to be. And we don't utilize it. We don't dig it up. We don't use it. We somehow, that you probably heard that story where the guy is in the house is going to flood, and, he stands in the house and he says, "I'm not going to leave my house." And the rescue goes by, then the water gets up, and now it's like halfway to his door, and the boat comes by, and, you stand him up on the second floor window, and he's going, "Come on, get in the boat." He says, "No, I got this." And then, the guy crawls up on the roof, and the helicopter's coming and tell him to come up. He says, "No, God's got this." And then he dies and he goes to heaven like, "God, I was trusting in you." He said, "I sent you rescue workers. I sent you a boat. I sent you a helicopter." Yeah. What's wrong with you, man?
Yeah. Sent you all, that's like the story, like how you say, and we look at the two, like the lady that she was waiting on God. And he came as this person. Then he came as that person. And she turned them all away. And then he finally came and she was like, "I've been waiting on you." He said, "Well, remember this person that came the first time? That was me. Well, remember that was me." So sometimes we try to identify people based on credentials, you know what I'm saying? Based on who it is. And so say you may say something that's powerful, you know what I'm saying? That can resonate to the masses, but because Dr. B may not have a platform as a TD Jakes. Now, I'm not saying TD Jakes ain't saying anything powerful, but what you just said in this moment was powerful than what TD Jakes may have said. But because you don't have that credentials as TD Jakes, people would tend not to listen to what Dr. B got to say but hey, God uses us all in certain ways. And a lot of time God will put the mouth, come on, man. He made an ass speak to save somebody's life. You know what I'm saying? So God will put the words in an ass's mouth, to save your life. But because you looking at who the person is, and then so you walking into danger, man. And so sometimes you just have to know principles in life, man. Principles in life, and know when to move and when to sit still.
Well, and just like you said, some of the people that are trying to help you, there's like people say, I'm putting my money in the cookie jar, or putting my money under the mattress because I don't trust the man, or I don't trust. And so your money is worth less next year than it is this year because of what it allows you to buy. The value of 20 years ago, you could get a loaf of bread for 25 cents. Now it costs $2 or whatever it is for that same loaf of bread. Well, if all you had, no money was sitting up in the cookie jar, then that money is worth way, way less than it was when you got it. And so there's people who come by your way and say, wait, man, you need to buy a house. Let me show you how to buy the house. Well, I like living in an apartment because, the apartment, the landlord's going to come fix it if something breaks. I've had that so many times when you think about, the landlord's going to fix it. I'm like, you don't realize in your rent, because I've been a landlord and I charge enough rent to replace that water heater if it goes out. So you're paying for it.
You paying for it over and over again.
In fact, you've been in my house for 5 years, so I got 10 water heaters worth of money to pay for it. And you don't want a house. And I'm saying you need to go get a house. You've been praying to God to help you get a house. And then when the house, well, I don't want no help. We got a first time buyer program that's going to give you, we have one here in Denver, $40,000 towards the down payment to get in the house. Well, I don't want that because that's just charity. I'm like, what? Like you talk, that's what you do, right? It's my head.
Like what the phone meme, like you just go, they got the way put the hand on the face. So Doc, man, really enjoyed you, man. I only got one more question for you, but I got this quick fire round, man, that I've been doing lately, man. Just I'm gonna ask you a question, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. But before we get there, man, one bold message, man. If you could leave our audience with one bold message, transformational truth to live by, what would it be?
That message would be do, have. Become the person that you need to be in order to do the thing, then you get to have. And stop doing it backwards, because people try to have, then they say, okay, I'm going to go buy this car. So I have the car. Now I'm going to go figure out what I need to do in order to keep it in my house, because I really couldn't afford it in the first place. And I really never became the person that deserved to have that car because I didn't do the work. So work on yourself. 20% of your life should be working on yourself. If you do that, your world will change completely. Then get around those associations of the people who can help you do it. The people that you're hanging out with right now are not the people who are going to take you to where you want to be. You need to find those people that are doing the thing that you really want to do. Go hang around them, be mentored by them, and your life will be changed forever.
Yeah, man, you ain't going to elevate with haters on your bandwagon, bro. I'm telling you that right now. So, Doc, man, where can we find you at on social media, man? Give us some of your handles.
Yeah, right now, if you go to BrianEArnold.com, that's BrianEArnold.com. If you are thinking about wanting to do a podcast, go to thepodcastchallenge.com. Thepodcastchallenge.com. Love to have you there, show you that. I'm going to teach you, if you want to make some money during podcasts, within 30 days, you will be making some money doing some podcasting. Within 7 days, you will have a podcast up and running. Now, you will suck at it because you ain't done it before, and you ain't going to be good at it. But you hang with me for a little bit, you're going to do good at it. And so I think I'm on Brian E. Arnold 1 on Instagram. I'm on all of them. You just go to my website, BrianEArnold.com. You will find me. You will see all the stuff that I'm putting out every day. Make sure you go to my show, the Journey to Freedom podcast this next week, and you can hear what I'm doing with Myron Golden and go to some of his stuff. It's going to be on in 2025. Let me help you.
Y'all heard that. Let me help you from the good doctor. Hey, B, so let's get into this quick fire round real quick, man.
You got it? Yep.
One word for freedom. What's one word that defines freedom for you today?
Trust.
Trust.
Faith, I can trust somebody. I can have freedom.
Faith check. What's a spiritual principle that keeps you grounded?
Faith.
That's the word. Faith.
Keeps me knowing that God is there to help me. I mean, that's the one word is faith. But if I can believe in God and know that God's going to take care of things, I don't have to worry about nothing.
And I'm going to piggyback on what Doc just said not too long ago, too. He said, if you do this, then he say, what you say, be, have, say that again. Do, have, do, be, and have. And then he said, if you put those things together, you will have something. And then if you put this behind you too, man, the Bible says, seek ye first the kingdom of God and all his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So like he said, quit doing things backwards and do things the right way, man, even though you may be lacking right now. But if you trust the Lord, you shall get or have what you ask for. You have not because you ask not. So B, let me ask you, man, bold action. What's the boldest move you've made this year?
Boldest move I've made this year. I would say the boldest move was making a commitment to interview over 100 Black men that were successful, that I wanted to know what they were doing. Because first I said, it doesn't matter. Then I went to a seminar that it was full of white folks and 30 Black folks in it that were getting some great information. I was like, well, why are we not getting it? And I said, it's not important for me. And I found myself counting how many of us were in the room not getting the information. So I said, wait a minute, it does matter. It does matter to be able to see what other folks are being able to do, know that I could do it myself. And then my bold move was, let me start helping Black men be able to get unstuck and to start moving forward with their dreams, because they may just not know how to do it or have not had the exposure that would allow them to move in the way that they want to. And so I interviewed 105 and we're at 175 now, and I'm going to keep going.
Oh, man. And I was glad to be on that list last year. I think we did one at the end of the year last year.
It was right at the end of the year. Sure was.
Yeah. So thank you, man. It was an honor to be on the show, man, and to be considered one of them 150 or 75.
105. You were in the first group. Yes.
Nah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, that was a good time. Good time. So let me actually be breakthrough tool. What's one mindset tool everyone should practice?
I would say the mindset tool that you need more than anything would be first that you can do it, that God put you on this earth, and to become the person that he wants you to be. And your prayer every day should be, dear Lord, give me the wisdom, just like Solomon asked, right? To do the things you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others. Because if you can figure out how to serve others in what you do, and you can be in God's will and in God's purpose, there's not one thing on this earth that could possibly come close to stopping you. And so find out what that is, practice what that is, and have that prayer every single day. Dear Lord, give me the wisdom to do the things that you put me on this earth to do in a way that pleases you and serves others.
Hey, and believe that, because wisdom is the principal thing. And so in all you're getting, get some understanding about the things that you're trying to move forward to. And he'll give it to you too. Hey, legacy thinking, B. What do you want people to say about you when you're gone?
When I think about, I would love for people to say about me, one, I want my kids to say that I was a good dad. I'd want my wife to say that I was a good husband. I'd like my community to say that I was a good friend. And then I'd like the rest of the world to say that I was on this earth and did what God asked me to do, and that I helped as many people as I possibly could while I was alive so that they could have better lives and understand what God has for them in their lives.
And then I can go to the Father, and the Lamb's book opens up, and then my name be called, and he say, son, job well done. Hey, come on now. We got to keep it all the way 100, B. We don't want half of it. We want all of it, baby. Cause we going to be gone longer than we here, man. So life is all about what you make it right now. Hey, follow the blueprint of my man, Dr. B. One more, Doc. Podcast gems, man. We've been on this all day. Didn't mean to get on that, man, but you know, it is what it is. We like the Holy Spirit. We let it take us where it's going to take us. What's your favorite topic to teach on your journey to freedom show?
You know, I think the favorite topic is identity. My favorite topic is finding out the identities that we hold for ourselves. Because once we understand the identity, that whether it was society that gave us that identity or the identity that we took on ourselves based on our things, if we can find out where we're at in our identity And then now we can learn how to change it, because our identity should be growing all the time, becoming closer to God with our identity, becoming closer to our relationships with our identity, and be closer to be able to helping others become that person. And so I love talking about identity, because everybody has a story. Everybody has a story, and everybody has hardships, and everybody has triumphs, and everybody has things. And if I can learn how that identity shapes somebody into success, and that's why I love to interview successful men. If I can find out what CJ's identity that he holds for himself, then I understand what I need to do in order to have that same success. So that's of all of them, because I have faith, trust, identity, finance, and faith. But I love talking about it.
Yeah, identity. Because you got to know who you are before you can move any further in them other ramps. You have to know who you are and who God has made you. If I'm not a leader, then how can I lead my family to where they need to be? Hey, so Doc, man, I thank you, man, for sharing your heart, your wisdom, and your mission. Your message reminds us that freedom isn't just a dream, it's a decision. To everyone tuning in, if you're feeling stuck, it's time to take that first step towards your own breakthrough. Catch Dr. B on Journey to Freedom and Living Boldly with Purpose, and follow him on YouTube for that 7-minute mindset reset we all need. This is your boy CJ Moneyway on the CJ Moneyway Show. And remember, success isn't all about money. It's about the mission. Let's go get it. Hey, this your boy CJ Moneyway with my man Dr. B. We out of here. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the CJ Moneyway Show. Don't forget to share this episode with your friends, leave a comment, and drop a review. Be sure to tune in every Tuesday and Friday for more inspiring journeys. Who knows? Your story might be next.